There genuinely is no limit. And what I mean by that is there's no limit to what you want to be, who you want to become, what you want to have, all the endless possibilities of activities and opportunities that are out there for you. There genuinely is no limit to this shit. And the reason why I say that is because the reason why there is no limit is because the only limits that you have are the ones you place upon yourself. You're probably thinking you're like, what do you mean, Jalen? What I mean by this is that there's probably somebody out there in this world that you may have seen on social media, who you may have seen that is a close relative, friend, family member, whatever the case may be, or someone you've seen that you may not be friends with, but maybe an acquaintance that you've seen them have some sort of success, or there's something that you admire about them, or something that they have that you might not necessarily have at the current moment. And I say that to say is there's no difference between you and them. The only difference between you and them is that they thought and they believed that it was possible for them to have. On the other hand, while you're still sitting here listening to what I have to say, is that they have the outcome that they want because they believed it was possible for them, which brings me to my point in the beginning. There is no limit. The person that has everything that you could possibly imagine and desire believed that they could have it at some point throughout the course of time. And they believed that there was no limit for them in order to achieve whatever said goal that was. And for those of you guys that are watching, there's generally no limit to this shit. At this moment, I'm 22, and the younger version of me couldn't possibly imagine me being where I am today. But to a certain degree, I did. Once I made the shift from me not wanting to be an engineer anymore and wanted to go full fledged into real estate, is when the light bulb went off. My freshman year of college, I stayed in solitude for the whole year. I wasn't fucking with any hoes. I was literally just locked in and focused on who I wanted to become, who I wanted to be, and what my goals were for a certain amount of time, or what I aspired to want to achieve in this life. And once I got clarity on that, that's when the building blocks and the foundation was built up for me to be where I am today. And all those things that happened in between that process leading up to this point has got me the outcomes that I've envisioned myself being in 4 or 5 years ago. And the reason why I'm able to be in this predicament is because I believed it was possible. I believed that there was no limit to how far I could take this shit. And with me doing the things that I'm doing today, like, I know I'll be the youngest developer in this state. I know for a fact I'll be the youngest developer in the state. And you guys may think I'm crazy delusional, but I've literally been able to not only build relationships, meaningful relationships, people that remember me because I played the people game. I always told myself in the beginning that I was always going to play the people game, and the reason for that is because skills can always be taught. All the characteristics, all the requirements, the knowledge, all that stuff can be taught. But if you don't know how to communicate with people, you don't know how to build relationships with people, you're not going to get very far. You may be able to get super far with the skills that you have, but people are going to be the driving factor to you being where you are today, to where you want to go, and even further. And when you're able to put yourself out there, talk to people, understand their story, learn from them, ask them thought invoking questions, you'll really start to see the world kind of just open up to you. I remember one time I went to Lululemon, and I was talking to one of the clerks or whatever, pretty good. Every time I walk in there, I see him in there working all the time. So we'll have some back and forth dialogue amongst one another. And it just so happened the other day when I went in there, because I had those conversations with him leading up to that point, I get discounts in there every time I walk in. Every time I walk in, I get a discount, whether it's, or he'll show me like certain things that are going to be released within the store, or whatever the case may be. Shit, I'm wearing Lululemon right now, my shirt and my shorts, and he's been able to help me not only understand what kind of clothes they're getting and understanding the brand a little bit more, but also too, I'm also asking him questions about him. I'm getting to know who he is outside of just him being a manager at Lululemon. And when you treat people with a certain level of respect and caringness towards them, they sense that. When you ask them specific questions that are not only personal but about their job, about the career, about their passions, they remember that shit. The reason why is because I learned this from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Ask questions about people. People love talking about themselves. So the moment you start asking people questions and you're not so focused on you, and you're focused on them, is when shit starts to shift. And that way, when you are having conversations with people, they know and think that you care because you're asking them questions about themselves. And when people tend to talk about themselves, they feel good. And I can even attest to this. I enjoy talking about myself all the time. That's why I enjoy talking to people and telling people about my experiences, to be able to have them be in a predicament where it's like it's beneficial to them. It's not just a one-sided relationship, and it's definitely even exchange for sure. But this just brings me back to my beginning point, is that there's no limit. There's generally no limit to this shit. That car you want, that girl you want, that house you want, that property you want, that opportunity you want, that job you want, that career you always thought about doing, just get the fuck up and do it. What do you generally have to lose? All right, maybe you fuck up, but look at it like this. All these fuck ups are only going to make you better. They're only going to make you better, so that when you do reach a level of success where it's like, damn, I always knew I could do this shit. It was just a bunch of little wars that I had to win in order for me to overcome, that has built me into the person I am today, has allowed me to get even more opportunities, even more money, and so on and so forth. So just look at it as enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. There are going to be bumps within the road, but it's just how you overcome it. And when you're in the version of yourself that has everything, looking back at all the things you did, you will thank yourself for it. I promise you. I thank myself for the long, relentless nights of me thinking about this shit methodically, figuring out who do I need to meet, what do I need to do, what skills do I need to learn, what are the things that I need to do to make myself better, so that when these opportunities do come, I know how to attack them and I know how to get the best outcome possible. And when you really think about what you're doing today, like, genuinely ask yourself, why haven't I taken action? Why haven't I been able to go after the things that I want? And the reason why is because your own self-inflicted limits. Who is literally telling you to do X, Y, and Z? You are. And that's why your environment's so trivial, is because the moment you start having other people create your reality for you, and what I mean by that is you listen to what they do, you're constantly listening to their opinions and taking it literally, all these little things. And when you start living a life for other people, you will be miserable. That's why being by yourself and being in solitude is so important, because you get clarity. You get clarity behind exactly what it is you want, and you are taking the actionable steps each and every day to get to that goal. And once you understand that, and once you understand, all right, well, I need to reinvent myself, then that's where you start to understand that there genuinely is no limit to this shit. There generally is no limit. You look at all the millionaires and the billionaires, really listen to watch and listen to how they think. There generally is no limit. They genuinely believe that anything is possible. Anything they put their hands on, they know they're going to win. They know they're absolutely ruthless. They know that anytime they walk in a room, that they're going to win at anything they possibly do. And even if they're not the greatest at it, they still have that winning mentality and that winning mindset for them to go out there and perform at the highest level possible. And that's why who you surround yourself with is so important, because if you surround yourself with losers, you're just going to end up another loser. If you surround yourself with people that think about nothing but fear and they're scared all the time, you're going to encompass that. And for the people that are understanding what I'm saying, is that it's so trivial for you to get out of your environment and get away from people that are holding you back, and get around people who you want to become, or get around people that are doing the things that you want to do, so you can understand how they think, walk, talk, act, and really understand what's actually possible. Because the moment you see it one time, you can't unsee it. Like, I remember one time I drove I was at the dealership or whatever, and I don't remember exactly what I was there for. I think my mother was getting a car service or something like that. And the one of the guys that we have a great relationship with, he ended up letting me test drive a Porsche. And the first time I drove the car, I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool, but it really showed me what's possible. Me just sitting in the car, me turning the car on, me hearing the car, me driving the car around, me getting a feel for the car, me turning on the music in the car, it really showed me what's possible. There's no different there's no difference between me and the man that has the Porsche. The only difference is that he knows something that I don't, that allowed him to become the person that he is and make the amount of money that he's in right now, so that he can sustain that Porsche. Now there's obviously levels to this shit, of course, but the moment you understand that this guy is at chapter 100 and I'm only at chapter 20, don't let that discourage you, because his journey and your journey are two different paths. But as long as you take the actionable steps each and every day to get to that level, you'll have the goal, you'll have the outcomes, you'll have everything you could possibly want inevitably. It's going to be inevitable. You just have to stay in the game long enough for you to understand that, all right, well, there are going to be bumps in the road. I may fuck up, and be okay with fucking up. Be okay with failing shit. Like, I see a lot of people so scared of failure. I'm like, bro, failure is an opportunity of growth. If you don't fail, you'll never get better. And if you don't understand that, then you're just doomed to lose at all costs. If you're not okay with losing anything, or if you're not okay with failing or learning or fucking up, then this is just not meant for you. And that's why there's no limit. Make sure you guys like, comment, follow for more, and I'll see y'all in the next one.